Good morning, students. Myself Kusma Mangala DV, Associate Professor, HOD, Department of Commerce and Management from Government First Grade College, Yelahanka. Let us continue the subject Consumer Behavior, Unit 4, Session 2. Today's topic is Search and Evaluation. Information Search. In the previous class, I explained about the consumer behavior. In the consumer behavior, the first step is problem recognition. Identification of the problem first. That is, why there is a need for the product, what to purchase, when to purchase, at what time to purchase, at what price to purchase. So all these need has to be recognized. All these points has to be identified by the consumers. Basically, what product he has to purchase. Once he identifies what is his problem, that is, why there is a need for the product to be purchased in his life. The second step is actually the information search. So he will going to search for the information. Once he is going to identify that he has to purchase the product, relating to the product, the various information he will try to purchase. So let us continue today. The second topic, the information search. Passive consumers may or may not involve in information search. But if the consumer is active or consumer's drive is strong, he will definitely go for information search. Particularly if your consumer is purchasing the basic necessities of life. For example, soap, detergents, toothpaste. Normally he will not make changes in the regular products. So he will go to the shops, normally the usual shop only, and buy the product directly without searching for the information again and again. But some consumers may try to identify the changes in the product and he will try to search for the information. This will happen particularly if he is purchasing the products by paying more price, durable products or prestigious products. For these kinds of the products, he will try to collect the information first and then he will try to purchase the product. So if a product is easily available and if the consumer is information search oriented or always is looking for the knowledge of the product, he will definitely be happy in knowing more about the product. Nowadays, due to Google and Yahoo search centers, you will get n number of the information. So consumer will keep on searching for the information and only if he is satisfied with the information he will purchase the product. So that is the attitude of the consumer nowadays. Although the consumer have all the information about the product, but he is totally confused about what product to choose from the alternative available. Sometimes when alternative products are available and all the marketers are offering, giving various discounts, offers at credit facility and so on, the consumers will get sometimes confused which product to buy among the various alternative available. So he will search for the information. So you will see the advertisements also. He will search in the internet also. Then he will ask his neighbors, relatives, friends, etc. He will ask the marketer. He will search from various sources and he will try to make the purchase decisions. So information search activity will increase when the consumer shifts from a limited problem situation to one involving extensive problem solving. There are 4 sources of consumer information search. The information search from these sources will vary according to the product category, and buyer's characteristics also. After the information search stage, the consumer will be able to increase his or her awareness of the available brands and their relative features in a particular product category. So the marketer can carry on a research program and recognize those sources preferred by the consumer in order to help the marketer coming out of the marketing mix. Larger the purchases, like buying a house, buying a new car, a big refrigerator, buying gold ornaments, often require a great deal of information gathering. Smaller purchases such as a gift for a new uh, friend or a new car speakers may also involve extensive information searches because of the importance of the consumers. So it depends upon the type of the product. Information search falls into two main categories, that is in the external and in the internal source. Let us see the external information search. When consumers seek information beyond their personal knowledge and experience to support them in their buying decision, they are engaging in an external information search. Marketers can help the consumers fill in their knowledge gap through advertisements and product websites. Until and unless the consumers are made aware of availability of the product through advertisements, the consumer will not going to purchase the product. At least in the beginning, when the product is introduced, the marketer need to advertise about the availability of the product so that the consumer will going to come to know about the existence of the product. The internet has become an increasingly powerful tool because it provides consumers with on-demand product information in a format that offers them as much as little detail as by the preferred by the consumers. So he can ask the questions also and he can get the information also in the internet. Social media. So many firms use social media to empower consumers external information search. For example, Ford uses Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr and Scribe to communicate information and deepen the relationship with the customers. So this social media is also used by the marketer because nowadays customers are also searching the information in the social medias. Consumers, friends and family, they serve as the most important sources of external information. Example, buying a new car. Uh, Friends and family members might be say about different brands or types of the vehicles. You might be impressed by the salespeople and commercials for certain type of car. But if your parents or friends tell you about the bad experience they had with it, their opinion probably carry more weightage. So we trust our relatives and friends more than the salespeople and the marketers, isn't it? So the power of these personal external information sources highlights why marketers must establish good relationship with all the customers. It's impossible to predict how one's consumers experience might influence the buying decision and the information of another potential customer. Because if he is satisfied, one customer is satisfied, so he will go on telling the other customer also his satisfaction level, that he is more satisfied with the product. So that will going to influence the other customers also to buy the product. Not all the purchases require consumers to search for information externally. For frequently purchased items such as shampoo, toothpaste, this I have already told you. For the regular products, internal information often provides a sufficient basis for making a decision. In an internal information search, consumers use their past experiences with items from the same brand or product class as sources of information, because they are regularly using the product. So no more information is required. If they are satisfied by using the product again and again, when they go to the market again, they will buy the same product, because they know very well that they will get the same level of the satisfaction by using the product in future also. So much information is not required. You can easily remember your favorite soft drink or vacation destination. So if you want to go for vacation, so you know very well where to go, how to go, in which transport to go, and so on, right? Soft drink. If you want to drink a soft drink, you know very well which one will going to give more satisfaction for you. So in the same way, when you are buying the regular products, you does not require much information. But if you are purchasing a car, your past experience with the automobiles plays a significant role in your new car purchases. If you have had a great experience driving a Ford Escape or a Toyota car, for example, you may decide to buy a newer model of the same car, because you are satisfied already with that company's brand, and you are confident that no more repair will come. So, or even if the repair is there, the customer service centers are frequently very nearly available, and they do the service regularly. So they are satisfied with the service of the marketer also. So in buying these type of the products, they buy the regular company brand only. Again, from the same company, another car will be brought. Second one is evaluation of the alternative. So in the consumer decision making process, this is the third step actually. So we have already discussed in the previous class also. So first step is problem recognition. Second step is information search. Third one is evaluation of the alternative. But from the today's class point of view, this is the second topic. Here consumers tend to use two types of information. They are as follows. The list of brands from which the consumer prefers or plans to make the decision or purchases. The second point is the criteria to be used for evaluating the each brand. So the list of the brands, and again second point is criteria to be used for evaluating the each brand. Consumers, in order to make the selection from the list of the brands preferred by him, should meet his criteria for evaluating the brands. So first he will list out all the brands available in the market, and secondly he will take all the criterias for evaluating the each of the brands. Consumers should be aware about the product category of different brands available in the market. The product category should involve from his preferred brand. The marketers should stress in doing the promotional activities in order to make a favorable or a brand image about the product. So the marketers through the advertisements give lot of information for the consumers, with the help of which the consumer can compare one brand with the another brand, and he can take the decisions. So while selecting the product, the attributes of the products are taken into consideration by the consumers. The quality, quantity, the price, the design of the product, then the reputation of the company, and so on will be considered by the consumers. This will be the basis for selecting the particular product of a brand. The proportional choice should be such so that it touches the consumer choice also. That is, the company which promotional measure should be adopted to give the information for the consumers is most important. Whether it is through the advertisements in the TV or ads in the newspapers, magazines, posters, then pamphlets. So which promotional measures, again giving the offers, discounts, coupon, this information how the company will going to communicate to the customers will going to touch the consumer in purchasing the products. So evaluation of alternatives. So um, once consumers have a better picture of the problems relating to the products and services available to them, they will narrow their contenders and then evaluate them individually based on their personal value system. So according to, there are many product is available in the market. So according to his requirement, his necessity or need, what is more valuable for him, that he will going to identify and he will go to buy the product. Consumers information search process. Consumers can actively choose whether or not to expose themselves to information through the three process, that is input, process and output. So let us see one by one in detail. Input, the component which helps the consumer in decision making, is based on external influences which serves as a source of information about a particular product and therefore which relates to consumers' attitudes, values, behavior, etc. The main important component of input are the marketing mix activities, which tries to communicate the benefits of products and services. And also another important component is socio-cultural influences are factors which definitely affect the consumer's purchase decisions. In the inputs, there are two types of inputs. First one is marketing inputs. The marketing efforts of a firm is most important tool. It directs in an attempt to reach, inform and persuade the consumers to buy and use its products. The marketing mix is a very important tool which helps in growing and developing a company. The various methods by which the consumers uh, much of its consumers are either by mass media advertising, direct marketing, personal selling and other promotional efforts, and also the price factors which helps in moving the product from the manufacturer to the consumers. So the consumers' perception play a very big role in moving the products from the manufacturer to the consumers. Socio-cultural inputs. The components are factors, that is socio-cultural inputs also affects the consumers in decision making. This input consists of wide range of non-commercial influences. The factors can be either family, friends, neighbors, relatives, etc. The non-commercial forms are in the way of consumer reports or any discussion of any group. The influence of social class, cultural and subculture, though has a less tangible, but they are very important inputs, factors which are very much internalized and affect how much consumers evaluate and ultimately adopt the product. So social factors and the cultural factors plays a very important role. The second step is process. The influence of psychological factors such as motivation, perception of the consumer, learning, his personality, attitudes play a very important role and very important factor also in consumer's decision making process. So these are all the important factors of the process. If the consumer chooses a product, the consumer has to do a pre-purchase search and then compare the product of the other brands. The consumer's information search process, that is the second step itself, consists of several steps again. First one is need recognition. The need recognition of it will going to occur when the consumer is faced with a problem. The problem differ from consumer to consumer. Some consumers are actual state who perceive that they have a problem when a product fails to satisfy the needs and wants of the consumers. Some consumers are at the desired stage type who can change the decision because of not being able to get the service which they expanded or expected. So he will going to identify the status, the desired state or the actual state. So his need will be recognized. Secondly, pre-purchase search. It begins when the consumer perceives a need that might be satisfied by the purchase and consumption of a product. Because of the part of experience, the consumer have adequate information about the product in order to make the choice on the other hand. If the consumer has no experience, the consumer will engage themselves in extensive search of the outside environment for making the right choice. Before making the choice, the consumer usually gather information and then take a decision. If the consumer is well experienced, it will not consume much time. The high risk situation, in the high risk situation, the consumers usually involve a complex information source. On the other hand, low risk situation, they use the um, less information search. Next one is evaluation of alternatives. The consumers before taking any decisions looks at alternatives available. So he will try to identify the list of brands. This we have already discussed, and in the list of brands, the criteria to be used again he will go to analyze. Let us see each in detail. A list of brands from which they plan to make their selection. Evoked set refers to the specific brands a consumer considers in making a purchase within a particular product category. The evoked set consists of small number of brands which the consumer is familiar through various advertisements. Therefore, he finds it acceptable. The consumer's evoked set is always distinguished from the consumer's input set, which consists of brands the consumer exclude from purchase consideration because of unable to accept the product. So he will think from evoked set also and from the point of view of the input set also. Criteria for evaluation. The criteria used to evaluate the brands constitute the evoked sets which are being expressed in terms of important product attributes. The consumers makes the choice depending on various parameters or attributes like the price of the product, quality of the product, availability of the product and so on. They choose the product which they think they can suit the needs and wants of the consumers. Sometimes the consumer makes the choice so that it suits their status and the lifestyles also. These consumers are not at all ensured about price tags. Third step is output, that is the purchase behavior. Usually the consumer make three types of purchases such as trial purchase, repeat purchase and long-term commitment purchases. When the consumer purchases a new product, they usually purchase a less quantity. Because if the consumer does not like the product, he can change the product. The product purchase might have to be thrown out so that the consumer while purchasing a product go for which is well established, which can be very much useful for him. So first for the trial purpose he will purchase the product. He will do the trial. If he is satisfied with the product, then he will do the repeated purchase of the product. And if the product, when he is repeatedly using the product again and again, if it is giving a satisfaction for him, then he can continuously use the product. So that is the long-term commitment of the purchase. The consumer will make the repeat purchase of the same product if the consumer likes it. This behavior helps the consumer in choosing the right product, which will definitely suit the needs and wants of the consumers. Many consumers make purchases of a particular product because they know it. The product is qualitative and essential. So brand preferences consumers turn into brand loyal consumers. First, they will be brand preferences. They give preference for the brands. Later on, they are considered as a brand loyal consumers. B, post-purchase evaluation. So this is the final step, the consumers information process. So final output is post-purchase evaluation. So here the consumer will going to compare his expectations with what he will going to get from the product. So before purchasing the product, he will be having some expectations about the product, right? So that expectation, for that expectation, he will going to compare now. So first one is actual performance matches the expectations. So it leads to neutral feeling. Suppose he was having one particular expectation about the product and it is matching with the actual performance of the product, then he is finally feel satisfied. Means neutral is because he was expected earlier. This was the expected satisfaction and the same satisfaction is met. That's all. But in the second one, performance of the product exceeds the expectations of the consumers. This causes what is known as positive disconfirmation of expectations. He never expected that the product will going to work out so much. So when he gathered the information, his expectation was a little less. But when the product was brought and it was used, he was he could never believe that the product performance has exceeded his performance. We normally call it as a consumer delight also. Third one is performance is below the expectation. Means he was expecting something from the product and we purchased, and when he used it, the performance was less than his expectation. He was not satisfied with the product. So this is causing negative disconfirmation about the product. So in this case, either he will going to return the product or he will going to argue with the marketer to give back his money, or if he can also file the case in the Consumer Protection Act. So these kind of the, and he will also go on telling his friends also that he collected the information and about a positive information about the product, but when he brought the product and when he used the product, the performance is not so good. So it will be going to have a negative impact on the other customers also. So the three types of situation can be possible. Actual performance can match with the expectations of the consumer. Actual performance of the performance of the product can exceed the expectations of the consumer, or actual performance of the product can even below the expectation of the consumer. So in this case, the information provided by the marketer may not be correct. So the main aim of post-purchase evaluation is to reduce the doubt about the selection. The analysis is done so that the product is chosen is wise and right one. So that is the reason why the analysis will be done. Why the information will be collected, why the evaluation of the various alternatives will be done is mainly because of this final stage, that is the post-purchase evaluation. For more information, you can also refer to the textbooks Consumer Behavior by Rekha MP and Vibhavi and MEA Vaidyesh. I hope you understood the topic, the information search through various sources available, and secondly, the evaluation of the alternative, which is also one of the most important step. We cannot believe on whatever the marketer will going to provide the information. You have to search from various sources, from the relatives, friends, neighbors, in the TV media and in the newspapers and through various other social network channels also before purchasing the product. So I hope you understood the topic, students. Thank you.